I'm coming to get you.
Hey, hold the phone here. Look here, boys, it's February, and this is my month, bitches. Now that there is an intro. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pete, and this is Give Me Back My Action Movies. Charlie and Nate have done a terrible, terrible thing, and they have given me this whole month to bring you movies from my head. And tonight is, well, we'll get to that here in just a little bit. So joining me tonight, since it is my month, I have brought along some firepower with me. All the way from Good Beer, Bad Movie Night, my co-host over there, Troy. Hey, Troy, how's it going, buddy?
Pew, pew, pew. Hello, I'm here.
Oh, it's so excited. I'm going to need all the help I can get tonight. Along with Troy tonight, we have always, of course, Nate is with us. Hey, Nate, how you doing, buddy?
I
How
am
you doing,
present. I am alive. I am not mad at my toilet. I am not seething with rage only because of a toilet and nothing else. I am here.
Oh,
no.
So it's 2 against 1 right now. So, and last but not least, our evil grand overlord, Charlie's with us. Hi, Charlie. How's it going?
Charlie? You gotta, Charlie.
Hey,
you gotta say
man.
something.
Come on. Come on.
I can see you.
Come on. I can
come
see
on,
you.
Charlie.
You're there.
Come on.
You got it. This is your podcast. You started this podcast. You gotta be
Charlie.
here for this.
I don't want it.
Well, how about this? What if we do it a tag team style? You know, it could be me and you in one corner, and then we could have Troy and Pete in the other corner, and we're gonna treat this like wrestling, and we're gonna tag team it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
no.
You gotta make sure
I'm here.
we slap each other when we want to get in. Okay.
Slap each other or the other team?
Each other,
Oh,
and then we slap the team.
oh okay.
Yeah, just like wrestling.
Okay. I'm here. Hi.
It's not
How we
fair.
doing?
You've got Andre the Giant on your side. Right?
You know,
Yeah,
Nate is
I brought in
also
the big
the
guns.
smallest.
All right, gents. Tonight, from 2004, is the live-action anime adaptation of Cutie Honey. It is as absurd and silly and adorable and ridiculous as it sounds. Those
are all adjectives, I believe.
Oh my God. So, not real sure how this is going to go. Troy, you're going to have to help me out here, dude.
I got your back.
Okay.
Tag him in.
So before we get into the movie itself, I just wanted to go over a little bit of the history of Cutie Pie and the importance of this manga in the history of.
Yes, please.
the
You're gonna
art
have to
form.
educate
It's
us.
So I realized all too late that both Charlie and Nate are not fans of anime at all whatsoever, and probably not fans of manga on top of that. So this will fall on deaf or me at this point. It's probably fall on deaf ears, but maybe somebody out there in the listening audience.
Not
would
fan
like
of
to hear
Troy. Kind of undecided at the moment.
So in 1973, Go Nagai published Cutie Honey for the very first time. She was she is manga's first female protagonist in the shonen manga series, and shonen manga is specifically targeted at young male readers.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains all the just hanging out in the underwear.
Yes, yeah, and this type of manga is usually, it's usually a little risque. Sometimes there's nudity in it. There's always uncomfortable sexual situations in it, not necessarily ending in intercourse, but definitely unintentional boob grabs, boobs to the face, panty shot, things like that. Yeah.
Pervy.
Yes, very pervy. Also from 73, and sadly, not all that has changed a whole lot. There's still a lot of that going on in manga. So take that for what it is. The original anime that came out was very soft is the wrong word. Tame is the word I want to say. So it was more in the tune of Troy. Have you seen Lupin the Third?
I've only seen a very small amount of it. I know who it is, but I've never really watched I don't even know if I've seen a whole episode.
Yeah, so Lupin the Third is a sort of a spy thing, and there's an attractive lady in it, and a spy guy, I guess, whatever, and they get themselves into situations where it's again not sexual, but maybe a sexual situation.
He falls and lands
anyway.
with his nose in her boobs type thing.
Right, dumb things like that. Anyway, this is more because there was an anime of Cutie Honey that went a little over the edge, more towards like a Ranma 1/2, where the Japanese version of Ranma 1/2 definitely had nudity in it. Very uncomfortable show, by the way. I don't recommend it. So this is a remake of the early anime, and frankly, I think they did a really good job because they cast an adult woman to be an adult superhero. So none of what we're looking at is a young person, an underage person. So if I can defend the film in one way, it's that she is definitely an adult. We're not looking at teenagers. We're cool.
She acts kitty.
Yes, well, okay.
The story is that her body was destroyed and got reborn just a year ago. So she's got no memories from before. So she's still kind of a kid in the way that innocent. She carries herself. Very innocent. But
yeah, she died
but
in the
not a child. She's not depicting a child character.
She's like Goldie Hawn in that Overboard movie.
I think
real close, Nate. Actually, that's really good.
And in
Can
Overboard,
we watch that now?
There is Kurt Russell, who stars in action movies that are like Big Trouble in Little China.
Good job, Nate.
An Executive Decision. Just really wanted to make sure that was clear.
You just want to name better movies in your eyes. Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm still naming movies.
He was a carpenter action. Like me. It was awesome. Yeah. I could connect with that character. Kurt Russell in Overboard.
I see what's going on here.
Fantastic movie. Oh.
So in the film, she dies in a car wreck. Her father is an inventor, and he transplants her consciousness minus her memories into a robotic body, giving
her in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. Yes.
I don't remember that.
You don't see that. You were so flipping mad.
It was.
I was enjoying the company that I was around.
I know.
Yes.
There was exposition in the middle of the film that described all that.
So I missed all the good out of this then because I wasn't there. But there was exposition about that. She did explain. Well, actually, she kind of explains, but yet this other guy fills you in on a lot of gaps.
This CIA agent or whatever he turns out to be.
Sure. The guy that's American, apparently.
Right. Well, you could Asian American. That's a thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
fair.
It
didn't come off like that, though. You know what I mean? The way they say that, you're like very tongue in cheek. Yeah. He was American. And I was like, we're not there yet, though. Continue.
We're not there. So
we're not at the end of the movie already.
Her powers. She's got this. They call it the eye system or something. The interactive. I don't know. I didn't quite catch it.
Blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah. She's a robot, and she can transform into kind of whatever she wants to do, whatever's convenient at the time.
Imaginary. It's the imaginary induction system. Which means nothing.
Eye system. Right. Which means
so she can cook a turkey in less time.
Exactly.
That's convection.
No. What that is, that's like, when you put that, was it like a pill in the microwave? like in that one movie that's an action movie. You know, the one that's very action heavy. Fifth Element, that movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
pretty good
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
She was also very childlike in a brand new body who had like superpowers.
Just like Fifth Element.
Lilu.
Yeah.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Multipass.
Exactly. So instead of Cutie Flash, Multipass. Boom.
Yes.
Multipass.
So just
It-
wanted to make
it all-
sure that
it all
there was,
lines
you
up.
know,
Right.
we were talking about movies that were very much in the same vein as Cutie Honey.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And so yes, she is an attractive gal, and they don't shy away from doing a lot of what's called the male gaze, where
Is that what it's called?
it's called the male gaze. It's a thing, and if people have a problem with this, I'm not going to argue with them. This kind of filmmaking, this kind of exploitation, if you want to say it. If you want to draw a line in the sand and say this kind of film isn't for you because it is degrading of females, that is fine. I do not of women altogether. I do not. I cannot argue.
I think you're
with
being
you.
a little over apologetic. It's not that bad. I mean, there are some scenes where she's like bending over and really ass to camera, and there's one moment where she's like talking to her cat on the floor and she's in her bra and panties, but it's not obscene. There's nothing.
It could be worse. It could be just hair covering the titties, you know, and just like a wink and a nod at the camera the whole time.
Right.
It could be nudity. That's in a lot of your action
yeah.
movies. There was no nudity in this. So
She could have had 3 boobs like that one
She-
action movie we watched.
There
that,
was. You know what? There is an action movie
yeah,
where
yeah.
3 titties are out and about in space.
On Mars, right?
Space movies.
It was on Mars.
Yes, in fact, on Mars.
It's called Space Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze.
Right.
And it's
does
called
need
the,
to-
tri- the,
that does
the
need to
triple
happen,
titty.
yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Trip titty.
Continue.
Not at all. Not at all.
I keep digressing.
I
here.
think one of my favorite parts of this movie is how it depicts anime and how absurd the special effects are. If you watch any amount of anime, you'll know that if someone of great strength punches you, you're going to do cartwheels up in the air, and you might even stick on a wall. And we got to see all of that in this film. Completely absurd, over the top action.
It's my favorite part of this movie. This movie
Oh.
is 100% a live action anime. It's fantastically well done.
That's the one part where I will give the movie credit where it's due. Is like the scenes where they have her like high kicking, I guess, or whatever, and it's shot super up close, and it's very reminiscent of what you do see in an anime when you depict a character doing their special move, or when you do get that moment of
And
her
they have those
punching people.
Great
Kind of just
stylized
the
moments.
outlandishness of it all. Yeah, like it does translate well into live action, where normally you would see that and go, that doesn't make sense. Like that doesn't translate well. I'm one of the minority people that thinks the Death Note live action movie that was on Netflix that was directed by Adam Wingard. I actually really enjoyed that one.
Whoa.
William Dafoe
Awful.
playing. See, everyone's saying it's awful. I don't like anime, so I got an Americanized version with William Dafoe with a book that kills people or something. I don't know.
Defoe was good.
But
There's
I
a live
liked it.
action Japanese one too. It's that's actually very it follows the book closely. Whereas
I
the
didn't watch it.
remake, the American remake, was whitewashed. They had American actors in it, and
Well, it's an American remake. Yeah.
so and yes, Troy, I just loved all of this. The director is Hideaki Anno. I can't even say his name. Damn it! Now I gotta look it up real quick.
Go ahead. Totally fine. We'll wait.
Hideaki Anno.
Anno?
Hideaki Anno is the director. He also did Shin Godzilla. If anyone has seen Shin Godzilla, quite
Solid.
I do
solid
know-
movie.
An action movie that features the Great Lizard, where he actually fights a giant Kong, one could say. And, there's a lot of action in Godzilla versus Kong.
They take a lot of Die Hard moments from Kong versus Godzilla.
You know,
So,
I got a lot of pro wrestling moments.
There's
that
some
also
pro
has a
wrestling.
very, you know,
He
yeah.
also
There was
he
a
pulled
giant
he pulls
uncle
a,
in this one. Okay, there was a giant.
What was
uncle.
that about?
I don't.
Because I didn't
Yeah.
understand that at all.
That
Why
part
was
was
there a
very
giant uncle? I thought we were trying to avenge her father's death, and then out of nowhere we're talking about her uncle.
Well, now
Her
she has to
uncle's still
save her
alive.
uncle
Yeah.
because he's the
He's still
inventor.
alive. Mm-hmm.
but he was the size of a skyscraper.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I-
But
You know what? Speaking of skyscrapers, and when she punches or someone gets punched, I don't remember, and they go through like 3 skyscrapers and they kill like, I don't know, like 30,000 people.
right.
That reminds me of another action movie. And it's one I don't like, but it's Batman versus Superman, where Superman destroys all those skyscrapers, and then Batman vows to kill Superman for some reason, and then doesn't because they're both named Martha.
So I gotta say there was quite a bit of collateral damage, not unlike the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called Collateral Damage.
Oh, that action movie where collateral damage happens, and he's a firefighter, and they kill his family, and then he goes and kills the people that killed his family.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the premise of it. So
There's that action movie.
Put your backdraft in there too if you're going to go firefighter.
Backdraft isn't an action movie.
Oh, okay, fair.
Oh, but you know what? You know what though? Jean-Claude Van Damme played a firefighter in an action movie called Sudden Death.
We just did a live stream on the Action Elite about that. You know, bunch of guys that know about action movies. We all sat on a live stream talking about all the cool action parts of that movie, and you know, we even didn't have to talk about the origins of hockey because we were able to just talk about all the action.
Actually,
parts
I
that
am
were in
kind of
that
curious
movie.
about the origins of hockey now, though.
We'll bring that up because they're all Canadians.
I bet it was
on the
very
Action Elite.
action oriented, where a bunch of like 6 guys with sticks started fighting another 6 guys with sticks with a lot of action moves, trying to obtain one puck.
And overly polite to each other too. So you know,
Very
'cause
nice.
it's Canada.
Very nice.
So
So
continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Continue.
Finally, Hideaki Anno is also the director and writer of Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is widely considered one of the best, if not the best, anime ever to have been released. So
I know
that's
this
my-
name. I
that's-
know nothing about it. What is that?
Neon Genesis Evangelion might be the weirdest anime I've ever seen, and I have no idea what the hell goes on in it. It's giant monsters and giant robots and a whole lot of weird Christian iconography. I don't know.
Why didn't we do that one?
I've had people explain that to me a number of times, and I still don't get it.
Giant robots and giant. I mean,
Yeah.
Why didn't we do that one?
So, in conclusion, wait, Troy has something to say. Troy.
If we'd have done that one, you'd be upset and you'd be like, "Why didn't we do the one with the cute girl, the warrior of love?"
No,
Right.
Like
Well, there is no live action
Not even a little bit.
Evangelion.
the one with she's got a sword. She like cuts down all these guys on
did?
the bridge. It was she has a sword.
She's
Oh,
got a boomerang and a sword and a gun and a motorcycle. See, I don't understand how you don't think this is action because there are explosions, there's fighting, there's swords,
There's a
there's
chief of
shooting.
police.
There's a chief
I
of
was
police.
promised Power Rangers.
Right.
I
Oh,
was
I
promised
I was
Power
getting-
Rangers.
I have a lot to say about
And
that
then after
promise I was
10
given.
minutes into the movie where there was no Power Rangers, I went, what's going on here?
How do you
And
not
then
see
a
Power
lot of-
Rangers? This
There
is
was
so
Power Rangers
Ranger-y.
for the first
This
5
is
minutes.
This is a solo pink Power Ranger movie.
Not
where
even.
you had that one dude with the claw, and then he was fighting a bunch of Green Hornets.
Yeah.
And then after the Green Hornets all die, and then at that point, no more Power Rangers, and Nate's confused, and then nothing happens for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
But there's
that was
also
rough.
a weird, creepy
No.
lady on the ceiling. And I think
Yeah, that was cool.
at the end of the day, love conquers all, and it kills the talking tree.
There, you did. You got it. See?
Nate,
I
you're
don't
totally
like
on board
it.
with this.
That's not Power Rangers. Power Rangers has 5 people go bam, boom, boom, bing, bang, and then they combine themselves together into some sort of anamorphic tiger with a sword that fights another anamorphic like zebra that has gold wings.
Zords. Perfect,
Yeah.
Nate. Good job, buddy. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. That was Cutie Honey. We'll might be back next week. Oh, was I too early on that? I had one job tonight.
You've been hovering the finger over that, right?
I was.
I knew I was in trouble when Nate was
Damn straight you're in trouble.
unhappy.
This is worse than Metal Store.
Sunday
What'd you
night.
do to us?
And then I'm like, oh, well, Charlie likes anime, right? And Nate's like, no, he hates anime. Like, oh shit.
All right.
And then on
animes
top of
I
that,
have
that was
seen.
strike one for me. Strike two for me. Charlie hates musicals. And damn it all, there are 2 musical numbers in this stupid movie.
There's music. There was a karaoke scene.
Well, that's besides the karaoke machine.
There was another
There
musical.
There were
I
2
have tried
musicals.
my hardest to have short-term amnesia
Oh,
in
it
this
was-
movie.
I
Just like
was-
an Overboard.
I was sweating nuts, man. I knew this was going to be rough. But as I am not a big fan of Cobra and Commando and dudes just sitting there shooting each other, Mission Impossible.
No, he
It's not
doesn't in
my
Commando.
bag.
He also
Not
uses a
my
saw
bag.
blade as a frisbee
Not-
and
not
chops
my
a man's
bag.
head off in an
This-
action movie.
This is more my kind of action movie where it doesn't take itself so seriously, and it's not a lot of gunplay. It's
You keep using this word, and I don't think you know what that word means.
uh,
Even IMDb doesn't say action on it. It says adventure sci-fi comedy. So
The
there was
amount of
explosions
anime
and
I have
shooting
seen
and
is in
fighting.
order: Princess Mononoke,
oh yeah, that's a good one.
Ninja Scroll,
Oh, that's a good one.
Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah.
yeah,
That concludes my list of anime I have seen.
Let me
Wait,
get
no,
I
no,
have-
no.
Oh,
I have seen at least 2 episodes. At least 2 episodes of Sword Art Online from my friend Cody, who recommended it, but then he stopped watching it with me, even though he had already seen it. And then I have seen the first 6 episodes of Attack on Titan. And then at the 6th episode, I got really mad at it and quit watching it. And
sounds
now
about right.
that concludes my list of all the animes I've seen. Now I have been to an anime convention, which felt a lot like this movie, but on a con floor.
Yeah.
I was equally lost at that convention here in Columbus. And I also remember being at the after party where all the dancing was supposed to happen. And you had the DJ on stage and everyone was in the back and no one was on the dance floor. And that was an awkward night.
That's why I like this. Those are my people. Those are mine people. That's me.
We don't dance. You dance, Troy. I've seen you dance.
Well,
You're very good.
thank you.
I have seen Vampire
He's ready to dance
Hunter
now.
D. I watched Akira for the first time last year. I had
Never
not
seen Akira.
that. I have seen the first season of Dragon Ball Z.
Isn't that like the entire show is all one season? Because
Yeah.
tune in
pretty
next
much.
week to Dragon Ball Z, where we promise
Where-
you the story will finally conclude, but it never concludes.
It never concludes.
And
However many
everyone's
is-
super strong and they're all OP.
however the seasons go, or however it goes, where it was like maybe 10 episodes. So I did that. I know what some Pokemon are.
Oh, I guess Pokemon does count as an anime. I have watched a lot of Pokemon. I play a lot of Pokemon.
That's really all this movie was really lacking. I
You
guess
know
if
what,
that's a
though?
word.
There were tiny little monsters fighting each other in this movie that would have been way more entertaining that they fit in your pocket.
Where was that?
I don't know. I'm just saying it would have really been cool.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool. I was like,
That
I
would have been
missed it.
cool, right? I
'Cause
also, you know what would have been cool is if there would have been 5 teenagers who, fight the local
Oh.
bullies at the high school, and then at certain points they grab their belt buckle and then they
Yep.
transform into like these suit guys that know kung fu, and then they do the kung fu on these guys that are made out of putty, like I was promised.
And then at the end, the one cool kid that they've all been talking to the entire time, he finally comes out of the shadows and he turns into this giant green Power Ranger, and he
Yeah, and
plays
he's got
this
a
giant
ponytail.
flute. He plays this flute, and this huge Godzilla-looking Dragon Zord comes flying out, and they both all combine into an even bigger Dragon Zord, and
Yeah,
they step on the bad guy tree.
That sounds boring.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that
like
sounded
I
boring.
like the cute girl that's running around and jumping off of bridges and doing flips in the air. And
She only does that for like 5 minutes.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I was like, yeah, there's so much story. God, there's so much story I don't care about.
It starts off really good.
It starts out
No.
really fun. It,
No.
it does.
No.
I will at least let know that.
All right.
That
Okay.
opening scene's
So-
great with Gold Claw.
So I did zero in looking into this movie. I wanted to go in with no knowledge other than what Pete had told me, that it was anime, like Power Rangers, and it's an action movie.
Keyword there.
Exactly. I've been told action multiple times. So I look at Jackie, and I have a conversation with Jackie the other day, and because she watched Raw, and surprisingly,
She
for our
liked it.
listeners, I haven't told our listeners yet, Pete. She actually rated that like a 7. So I was the minority on that, but also it proved my point even more that it was definitely a female kind of thing to get like
Mhm.
all of the subtext and
Okay.
stuff in it.
Okay.
So I was not as shocked that she liked it. So I said, we got to watch this. It's called Cutie Honey, which already made her eyeball twitch, but she goes, okay. I said, you don't have to watch this with me. I'll watch it in my office. And she goes, we ride together, we die together. I'm like, all righty.
That's like what they say in that one action movie.
Yeah.
Bad
That's
Boys.
like Martin Lawrence and the other guys
Yeah,
in it.
yeah. That action movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I think it's like Bad Boys. Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd
yeah.
have been a cool name for this, called Bad Girl. Nope, that would have made it worse. That would have made this movie worse.
Actually,
if you
Bad
named it
Girls,
Bad
that
Girl.
is a different thing that I accidentally downloaded on LimeWire. Accidentally.
Accidentally.
It's
So-
still, you still have it on your shelf, don't you?
Yeah, it's over there. So we turn this thing on, and not a word is spoken in the first 10 minutes, not even looking at each other. And it gets past the whole golden nutsack claw and helicopter hair, and
Oh, I forgot about helicopter hair. That did crack me up.
Jackie just kind of looks at me with this like, oh God look in her eyes, because she thought because I was so quiet, I was intensely watching the movie. And I slowly turned at her and went, I hate this. And she goes, oh, thank God I'm not alone. And I messaged Nate during the movie, and I went, I don't like this. He goes, I know, it's okay. We'll get by. And I was like, I'm going to turn thirst on. That's how bad I don't like this movie. There was at least blood in Thirst, albeit a little bit. There was a cool blood scene in that one, but there's no blood in this. And
It's
I felt
almost like he was punishing us for, past
I don't know
comments that have
what.
been made.
I don't know what I did, Pete.
I got so excited. Troy was going to be on, and he is on. I'm like, this is so cool. And then when Pete was like, oh God, I've messed up so bad. And he's texting me like 2 days ago, like, I can pick another movie. I'm like, I don't got time to watch another movie. And we got Troy, and I don't know if Troy's got enough time. We got to stick to our guns now. We're in this. We're all in this together now.
I got a message from Pete, and he goes, Nate says, I think I may have messed up. That's all I got.
You didn't even like
so-
the Scarlet Girl that's jaw unhinges and she shoots fireballs out of her mouth through buildings?
No.
Okay, well.
Because while as cool as all that was, and why I use cool loosely, because the sarcasm come across in podcasting, as cool as that was, it died when they shot the fireballs through 3 buildings, and then a bunch of office dudes raised their heads up out of the flaming wreckage, as if no one
That's
died.
very anime, though.
As I said, I did no research in this movie and had no idea that this was literally a live action, page for page redo of an anime, which I only found out after I watched this.
We had live commentary to guide us, because we had one of Pete's friends. Was it James? Was that his name? I really
James.
want to get that right.
James.
Yeah, so James was, he knew quite a bit of detail of Cutie Honey. It was great to have that kind of acknowledgement there. It was like,
Kinda
oh,
like
sweet,
pop-up
okay.
video going on in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Where he knew, the background, even was like, oh, like, I see what they're doing here. So I can at least admit that what the movie was doing well. But but it's not doing well for a person of my stature or Charlie's.
Yes.
That's fine. Not every movie is for every person.
No,
so...
and that's I tried to bear that. We agreed. We gave you this month.
We knew what
And
we were going to get ourselves into.
I
in
thought
February.
I knew what we were going to get ourselves into.
I was when I was picturing a Pete action movie. I was like, oh, he might pick Ricky O, or he might try
that's
to
a good
do
one.
us
Yeah,
and pick something like really, really like bad, but in like a fun way.
I pictured so many other style movies. This would never cross my mind
He
as a
could've-
possibility.
He could have picked that one movie where it's like Alien versus Hunter, where it was like this wasn't Alien versus Predator. This is,
Hey,
Yeah.
but
hey,
no.
let me put your minds at rest. At least it's not Dave picking the movie.
I don't know. Dave might have picked like a documentary on minerals, and I would have been very excited.
I'd watched The Swarm.
What?
In this movie. Yeah.
On purpose?
Oh, you
Oh,
watched
yeah.
The Swarm in this movie was your Swarm, is what you're saying.
I'd watch The Swarm again right now if it would make me forget this movie.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I like when I rate it on Letterboxd because I've been trying to, I am not even trying. I am keeping up to date with every movie I watch and putting it into my Letterboxd.
Yeah.
And then Pete messages me going, "Oh, I saw you gave that a really bad rating."
Yes, I did. Oh, boy.
All right, guys. Well, I think we should take a really quick break and kind of gather ourselves up a little bit. Let Pete process everything that's now been dropped in his lap.
I feel like this is going to be a really short episode.
So
Think about what you've done
okay.
to them, Pete.
You're lucky you're
This-
not in the corner right now recording,
know,
and I
I
meant like we
know, I
make you
know.
go to the corner
I know.
and like in your own house.
I mean, it is a probationary period, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Look, let's hash some things out over the commercial, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back to Power Rangers Mystic Force.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Sheik, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise, this team does it all. And all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Green Ranger and his Dragon Dagger. With the Dragon Dagger, the Green Ranger can summon the Mighty Dragon Zord. Alert! The Power Rangers and play the call to battle. Beware, the Dragon Dagger makes its own fighting sound.
I don't like the name of that tool.
Believe me, it's a hit.
The Power Ranger Dragon Dagger
From Bandai, too hot to handle.
Welcome to the Monster Movie Stomp Down with me, Stompy, and my little brother Frank.
Hi, I'm Frank.
Yes, you are. So join us, Sludge, Mark, and Ruben as we review monster movies from all around the world.
And don't forget about the monthly contest and trivia.
That's right, peasants. You'll find extra content like the Underdogs, Monster Mash Wednesdays, Friday Night Fights, each week exclusively on our Facebook and Instagram.
So please join us at the Monster Movie Stomp Down.
Your one-stop shop for monster movie reviews, interviews, news, contests, and of course, me, Stumpy.
And Frank.
Now, back to Power Rangers Mystic Force.
All right, now we're back. We've had a nice long discussion. It was only a few minutes for you guys. It was an hour for us. We talked Pete off the wall. He's still a host here. His probation isn't revoked or anything. But
Yeah.
Good. We're
I don't
good.
think that will ever be revoked. I think that's just going to be
I
a standing probationary.
maybe we'll see what your
What we're
other
gonna
two picks
do
are.
is like When Beefcake had surgery, he got this cone of shame put on him to make sure he
Have the
didn't
cone of
chew.
shame.
So we're gonna put the cone of shame on you.
So I was thinking about this. I was like, so I like the spring it on us aspect of what we tried to do here. But I also realized that I can't even rely on Troy to pre-check the movies, because he'll also be like, "Oh yeah, these are amazing. You guys are gonna love them," and we're
This is
not.
quality, guys.
So I think I should double check the horror selections, but let Nate be surprised. Then Nate double checks the action selections, yet I'll still be surprised. Maybe next year
We need checks and balances for Pete. That's the problem. There was no balances here, and
I was told he was
pick.
housebroken, and we let him off that
Yeah.
leash.
He
Boom!
instantly
I
pissed
just piss
all
over
over the
living room.
floor.
It's crazy. All right, well, Nate, you did say you had some questions. So in our tag team that you promised me we could do, I'm tagging you back in. So
All right, tag me in, butter.
ask the question.
Not tag me in, butter. Tag
That's
me in,
butter?
brother.
brother.
Yeah,
My
brother.
brother from another mother. All right, you're tagged in, Nate. Ask the question.
Hulk Hogan liked to use the word brother, and he was in an action movie called Suburban Commando. Just want to get that out real quick.
He was also in No Holds Barred.
He was
also
for that guy poo-poos and pees him.
And Santa
Yep.
with muscles.
Santa with muscles.
He was in Santa with Muscles. I think he was in one of the
All
Three
I'm
Ninja
doing-
movies, like we talked about in the last in our
He was at Three Ninjas at High Mountain Noon or something like that.
Showdown at High Noon or something like that.
I don't know. They
I
take
think
over an
it was
amusement
that
park
one.
like in Beverly Hills Cop
Yeah.
3, but with the
Didn't
Three
he
Ninjas.
wasn't there another one that was kind of like Suburban Commando, but it was more like he was a nanny or something like that? I can't remember what.
No,
all
you're
these
thinking
things
about
were.
that one movie with Sinbad.
Oh man, the Shazam. That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah. All right.
All right.
What's the question?
So obviously, Charlie and I don't know anything about anime. We've made that abundantly clear.
I hope so.
But because, this is the nostalgia of the podcast, what are the early memories for Pete and Troy of anime and what draws them into it?
For me, oh no, Pete, you know the term for this. It wasn't really anime. It was the Ultraman and the Family Giants. Like I'd come home from school and there were some old. What is it? What are those called, Pete?
Tokusatsu.
Tokusatsu. And so it's like, and they were all like the same thing. Happened every episode. The little guy would run around and oh, there's a monster, and then the monster would get angry and would grow to the size of the city, and then he would grow to the size of the city. They would fight. The good guy would win. Next episode. And often there was, and the Family Giants, there was a group of small people that had they basically Power Rangered. They had things that they would get into, and they would grow into a giant robot that would then fight the bad guy. That was my entry point. And then every once in a while, you'd run into an Akira or a One Punch Man that just made you go like, "This is the best." And it's purely the style that they can put into these things. There's so much energy, and there's so much. It looks totally different from what you get from an American fight scene or cartoon. That I fell in love with it, and now you see it modern. Like if you've ever, okay, here's my nerd moment. Go out and find a Daniel Warren Johnson comic. He did Murder Falcon. He did. He's doing one right now called Do the Power Bomb. That's one for the wrestling fans. It's about father-daughter wrestling tag team that fight in another dimension to bring their dead mother back. It's fantastic, and it's all very anime inspired. It's craziness.
Murder Falcon looks pretty cool.
Murder Falcon's awesome.
I need to borrow
The power
those.
of heavy metal.
Right.
And like
That's
a
perfect.
guy with a hammer or something. I don't know. All right, Murder Falcon's got my attention.
Get it at the library, Nate.
But so often it's the style that these things have got. You're checking out. You're seeing them do things and show action in ways that you just don't see in the West. that's what's always attracted me to anime. And this is Cutie Honey had a little bit of it. I will give you that there was a lot of filler in between action scenes.
There's a lot of downtime in the middle of that movie. It really was.
But like kicking those guys and then flying off, pinwheeling what obviously were dummies, just flying off screen. That was amazing. I love that. That's so fun.
So then, Pete, what's your introduction to all this?
When I was a kid, I grew up in a very small town, so we didn't get a lot of the tokusatsu, and that should have been Ultraman time when I was a kid. Troy and I were a little older than the two of you, and I was too old for Power Rangers, but I understood what it was. When I was, God, they had a Battle of the Planets when I was a kid on TV, and it was the American version of Gotcha Man is what it was, and I was transfixed by the animation style. It was just something that wasn't on TV. When you're used to Scooby-Doo and Hanna-Barbera, you're not prepared for Gotcha Man. You're not prepared for Battle of the Planets. It's something unlike anything you've ever seen. And then when G.I. Joe came around, I noticed similarities in the explosions. Like, oh, they must be using similar animators. And as I grew into adult, I couldn't tell you the name of the animation studio, but yes, they were Asian animators, and they were all from similar studios. And if you watch early G.I. Joe explosions and a lot of these old United States translated anime, the explosions are exactly the same. They implode and explode in the same fashion. It's really very, very good. I was vaguely familiar with Voltron. I knew of the toys, and I think I went to Cleveland a couple times to visit friends and saw an episode or two. So I was familiar with the assembly of heroes sort of thing. The henshin is what it's called, where you change. That's a loose term. I'm probably using that incorrectly, but when you change from one form to another, I think it's called henshin, whether it's size or shape. So when they assemble and they became Voltron, when like Transformers came out and when Power Rangers came out, it's like that's familiar to me. So I've always been just mesmerized by that art style. And every once in a while, I would go get a film from the somebody's garage. Not even kidding about that. Who was selling videos? That's where I saw Vampire Hunter D, and I just was in saucers for eyes. That was such a good film.
Agreed.
It's bloody. It's weird. It's horrific. Oh, it's got absolutely everything. It also doesn't tell you what's going on. Like the dude's hand talks to him. There's a face in his hand, and you're like, where'd that come from? I don't know. You got to go read the manga because that's where it came from.
He dies halfway through the movie or gets super, super injured, as I'm remembering it. And the hand starts eating dirt to heal him.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene is always stuck into my head from that.
It's weird.
Now, I had a similar situation like you were talking about. I'm super rural, super small town. I didn't know the word anime. I didn't know the word manga. Vampire Hunter D just happened to be on a cable channel on a Sunday afternoon that me and my dad caught it. I don't even think we started it from the beginning, but it was early enough because I remember watching a good amount of it. And even my dad was like, that was badass. I was like, this was amazing. Now, for whatever reason, I either from lack of it being available to me or what, I didn't seek out that style of animation. I didn't, I was also, I want to say I was like 15, maybe even 16 when I saw that for the first time. So it could have just been like, I have live action movies I can go watch, so I'm not worried about it. To me, Japanese entertainment was Godzilla, Mothra, Gamera. That's what I knew. And that honestly, it's what I loved. I did love monster movies, and I watched all of them, and I think it's because the other stuff just didn't have any of that for me, or it was just so weird and out there when I did finally maybe pick up a manga comic or something that maybe was influenced by it, where I was just like, yeah, no, this ain't for me, man.
Why the hell am I reading this backwards?
Right, yeah. Why is it? It's totally different. It's not the right size. It doesn't fit with anything else I keep on the shelf or store. And I knew that they had done like American properties over there. Like there's like a manga style X-Men.
Sure.
There's a manga style of a lot of things that were popular and created here. And even then when I tried to look at those, I'm just like, no, I can't. I just cannot get into this whatsoever.
A similar boat, because when I was a teenager, it was Toonami was really big on Cartoon Network. And
that's where Cowboy Bebop came over. That's where Dragon Ball Z came over.
Yeah, and like none of those
you're right in the high country with Toonami.
None of those like captivated me as a teenager. And then there was always this weird like the pervy elements to it all, where I was just like, oh, like. I remember a friend wanting to show me like there was one called Desert Punk, and like instantly it just had a girl's like boobs bouncing up and down. I was like, oh, like why not just like we could watch real boobs like in Under Siege, an action movie that has boobs.
And Steven Seagal and Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey, and we're also covering that on Action Elite here soon.
So. That was always like my problem with it, or it's just like, oh, like this is just like, oh, there's a random shower scene in literally all of these. Why is there always got to be a shower scene? Like,
well, it's like the video games that we actually did. Like when we played like Dead. Was it Dead Alive? What was the?
Oh yeah, it was Dead or Alive.
Yeah, one of those, and you literally had a mode.
They really made sure the physics and the boobs were bouncing at all times.
You had to punch in that code. The first one was the first or second one that came out that it didn't, but you put in a code and it was boob bounce, and it would add the jiggle to, and then again, like all the finishing moves and stuff were at a camera angle, much like what you see in this movie with Cutie Honey. I'm glad earlier on when you were talking about this that you did bring that up, because I was actually uncomfortable with all of that, because it was just one of those things like it's filmed very pervy, and I didn't know if that was a cultural thing or it's just normal for anime, which I'm understanding now is probably more
sadly it's normal for anime.
Yeah, so this is probably super freaking tame compared to a lot of stuff.
Oh no, like this definitely felt like a PG-13 or even like a PG, like
it's rated PG from what I could find.
Yeah,
it was like,
I didn't feel like this was like constantly the camera is groping Honey Bun.
No,
I felt
but
like it was.
Sometimes it was though, like Troy pointed out, like she's been over a desk and it
but it's like
hints
that's no
at
different than like when you have a movie where it's like you have the woman lead that the male character is supposed to lust over, where she's like purposely putting her boobs, in a low.
I think because normally
them up in his face or something,
There are movies that do it a lot, but in some movies they do that like once or twice. I think it was just the fact that this kept doing it all the way to the end of the movie. Like it was just always. And I there is one thing of trivia, because when I got done watching this, I did read up on it. I wanted to understand what the hell I just watched. And the one thing of trivia, and it's so weird that this scene even stuck out to me, was when she gets knocked off of the spire at the end and from the tornado dude, and she lands on a car and butt first, obviously. And the dude in the car is smiling the creepiest, perviest grin. That's the director in the car.
That's the creator, Go Nagai.
Oh, okay. Creator.
That's
it was
creator
someone that was,
Honey.
He was so happy with that scene.
Yep.
And I don't know why that one particular scene actually, because it lingered that half second too long for me, where I was just like, okay, she landed on her butt. The guy's like, oh, I got to see an ass shot. It was actually more like gawking, it was too much for me at that point. Like at that point I was like, all right, I can't do this. Like I didn't even mind the guy having all the pictures of her in his room. because they were not
Oh
nudes.
yeah, I forgot about
They-
that. Yeah, where
you know,
he's
he
like
was
he's got all these
like a shrine almost to her.
And
That
it turns-
felt less pervy than
It also
the
turns
camera.
out that he was doing actual research on
That's
her.
that's
So
what
it
helped
wasn't-
it. Yes,
He wasn't a stalker. Well, he was kind of a stalker, but he wasn't a legit stalker.
It was kind of like this half and half. You could tell he's
Yeah, yeah.
attracted to her for sure, but it was also he is an investigative reporter. That's his cover anyway.
Mhm.
And so I understood that. And I'm also happy they had so much focus on Cutie Honey that they didn't go the other route of sexualizing the police officer woman. They didn't, do anything that really kind of made you uncomfortable, even seeing her on the screen. I mean, they even put her in the, in the formal outfit towards the end, which was, I was like, okay, I like this. It gets her out of the pantsuit that she's trying to fit in with the cops. I was like, I appreciate that. But yeah, I was glad you brought that up because if there was one thing that was just like made my skin crawl more than even Raw, like because I had an issue with the way the camera things were doing in Raw with the what's supposed to be underage or low 20 age girls. This one I was just like, okay, she's at least an adult. I'm okay with that. She's obviously good looking. I mean, from what I saw, she's a model.
She's very cute and adorable. There's no denying that at all.
I mean, even as the woman playing it, I think she was like a model or something, very high profile in Japan. So I was like, okay, I like they went that route. It felt more adultized. It wasn't I was trying to think of what you call that, where they try to make an adult woman look like a child is also just as equally creepy. You know what I mean? So I was like,
oh,
okay,
you
they're
mean
not doing
all of
that.
Ariana Grande's career?
Oh yeah, that. You
Yeah.
mean Nickelodeon?
Yeah, that's actually what I meant.
I'm telling you
21
guys,
Jump Street.
my kids watch Nickelodeon, and it's not on there as much now. But there were some shows
that when you actually producer got like
Dan
Really?
Dan Schneider or something like
I
that.
can't remember his name, but there was like a big ordeal with that.
The iCarlys, the Salmon Cats, the Victorious. My kids watched all these shows, and honestly, they're a fun show till you watch them, and you're like, oh no,
there's a dirty
no,
perv
no.
in the background.
Yeah, truly, he was behind the camera in Cutie Honey. But and I want to be honest, man. I watched this just trying to find something to latch onto. It's like I just need one character to carry me through this movie, and it wasn't Cutie Honey. She annoyed me. I was like, I can't deal with her. I didn't like the other girl. I didn't like that character. She was trying too hard, I guess, which I understand. That's what they're going for.
I thought Golden Claw was going to be the showstopper. Is that who it was?
Yeah, Gold Claw.
Gold Claw.
Then that person pretty much got dispatched like in Austin Powers.
That was like
right.
Literally there the whole movie. Like they left them standing there in the lair the whole movie till the final culmination of a fight, and they went, nope, you're out, and drops them down the tube. And I'm like, that was the dumbest freaking thing I have ever seen in my life.
But it felt very anime-like, though, where it's just like, yeah, that I could see that happening.
I can't use that phrase, though. I don't have enough reference to go, that was an anime moment.
Neither do I.
That was but
my grand total that I have announced on the show.
But I think that is my biggest issue. And as we all have said already, that obviously I'm not a fan of these things. But when you're trying to watch this movie, that is an issue because I'm not in on either the jokes or the style or what to expect when it's about to happen. It's just like the ending of this. I have a guilty pleasure movie that I don't consider it anime, but I guess it has a lot of ties to anime, but to me it's very Americanized, and that's the Scott Pilgrim movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
that was fun.
Yeah,
I didn't like it, but it was fun.
The movie is a guilty pleasure for me for some reason.
Oh no, I absolutely adore that movie, and like that comic book series is so good.
And I've never read that movie.
Yeah. I never read the comic, but I don't know what it, and plus it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She I'll watch her in anything. I mean, she's
so
a
adorable.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, it got to the end of this movie when basically I go, they just destroyed them with the power of love. I immediately thought of the Scott Pilgrim. You've just earned the power of love. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh no, please
Scott
no.
Pilgrim's comic book is very much like a manga. It's a standalone 6-volume story.
But isn't it like an American,
Canadian.
doing a manga, a Canadian? That's it.
Which
Canadian.
it drives me nuts seeing the internet hate on that because they're like, "Oh, you're not supposed to like Scott Pilgrim." It's like, yes, but he has a character arc. Like he has redemption. It's because he's a 23-year-old dating a girl in high school, so everyone instantly hones in on that. And it's like, yes, he does do that in the beginning of the book, and he is a loser, but he is him redeeming himself. And like, yes, he does cheat on that girl. Like he does a lot of scumbag things in it, and like. All of his friends kind of just deal with it, except for one person, and she calls him out on his bullshit at all times. And it's like, yeah, like it's just like Fight Club. You're not supposed to be rooting for those people. Like you're not supposed to be rooting for Scott Pilgrim. But when you see the entire story arc play out, it's like, oh, this is a person growing up.
You're watching him basically get his comeuppance as the story progresses. He's learning from each of the things. But anyway, like I said, it was just one of those moments.
Though, of society of like actually letting people, grow.
There's a problem with all of society. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Cutie Honey.
We're supposed to talk about honey buns.
So, all right. So tag me back in, Nate.
All right, you're tagged back in. Go.
Okay.
I felt like you were already tagged in, but all right.
Troy, you need to tag in here pretty soon, dude.
Pete's gonna have to tag in Troy because Troy's been too quiet.
That's right. Well, I'll be 100% honest. I think I was very quiet leading up to the commercial break. So we're just balancing the episode out a little bit here. Okay. So I want to ask, since you have a history with the anime type, with comics,
the anime.
We're
gonna go to the McDonald's later on.
I don't know. It wasn't G.I. Joes or Transformers. What do you want from me?
Right. What's wrong with going to the McDonald's? It's the McDonald's.
Nothing.
Yeah.
That's what my grandma said. That's what I say.
So this is a literal page for page almost live action movie of the comic book. What about, I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this. Basically, I want to know, normally when we watch cartoon, like Nate and I talked about before, our live action cartoon or cartoons movies ends up sucking, like G.I. Joe and Mortal Kombat that wasn't the first, and I'm not saying the first Mortal Kombat sucked. I'm just saying it wasn't a translation of what we knew from the video game. Transformers, stuff like that. But what I'm seeing is you guys actually liked their adaptation from comic book to live action on this. Why? What do you think is the difference?
The problem with the movies that you listed, the Mortal Kombat and the G.I. Joes, is they didn't feel like what they were referencing, there was nothing about those that said G.I. Joe. It's just an action movie with G.I. Joe characters.
True.
This felt like an anime, like when Goldclaw slapped that guy and he stuck to the bridge behind him. That happened. I've seen that gag a million times in anime. When Cutie Pie, damn it. Cutie Honey.
That's staying.
I know.
When she gets punched and she flies into the building and you could see her body outline smack against
it's Looney Tunes.
For sure.
It's Looney Tunes, right?
Yep.
So there was some of that all worked really well. And then just the story arc, I know that it gets slow in the middle, but it really did feel like an anime, like the villain being defeated at the end by the power of love. And kind of that's the part of the anime that I always hate, but God, did it read true to what I've seen a million times.
Why can't love kill?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well,
no,
I don't. Love healed, I think. It healed it to death.
It healed Cutie Pie. Cutie Honey. But
I didn't even realize that you messed up.
But Sister Jill, when she's like, I feel love for the first time, and then she like crumbled to the earth and turned back into a tree, and then that crumbled.
Yeah, okay. So that was the odd thing, with that. That again, I'm in an action movie. I'm used to the final fight. The bad guy gets their comeuppance because that what's her name, Lady Jill,
Sister
Lady
Jill.
Jill. Sister Jill.
Sister Jill
Sister
is
Jill, well,
exactly
come.
Sister Christian. But it was one of those things like she's literally been trying to kill you this entire thing and suck all the power out of you and do all this other stuff, but yet I don't get that. Oh, she defeated her.
Well, that's
Just
because
done.
Honey Bun Bun Cootie Pie didn't come out with an M60 from the war going dooku 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 dooku.
And here's the thing, though. Why not? Because apparently I was told in this movie, with the power of Cutie Flash, she could literally be anything she could think of. Have we not shown her Rambo? Have we not shown her the gold of Chuck Norris? Because she would need to worry about some stupid motorcycle that only gets used one time in this movie.
She could have watched that one show that's also Japanese where the motorcycle talks. I know that one.
Oh,
I don't think I know that one.
I don't know that one.
The motorcycle talks, and the guy, he's from Mars or something like that, and his car talks, and the motorcycle's like Chopper, and it's really sarcastic. It was like during Power Rangers and Beetleborgs, and then like, I don't know, he was a writer.
Was it live action?
Dude.
Yeah, it was live action.
I can't think of the name of it.
I love that show as a kid.
You started listing off like Beetleborgs with the bad Jay Leno knockoff bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't Jay Leno. You know how much that blew my mind when I found that out later? I was like,
that's exactly like when I watched Blank Check and it wasn't Sinbad. Blew my mind.
But I do remember there was that motorcycle and car that talked, and I cannot.
I had the motorcycle toy. It was really cool.
I can't remember
it had, like,
the name
antennas.
of it. Yes. Like there was like everyone
look
decided,
at us going. We know more about this than Troy and Pete.
Now you're in Power Ranger land, man. I started watching Power Rangers from like season 1. I was there.
I remember kindergarten watching that pig guy fight the Power Rangers, and my life changed forever.
Dude,
then Power Rangers Turbo came out, and I went, I'm kind of done with this.
I think it was Turbo, or maybe the one after in Power Rangers Space or Zeo or something like that. I kind of fell back out of it, and then I would watch the new ones where they would bring back the old Power Rangers, like Tommy, sorry, we lost JDF, but they would always bring back the old school ones. I met the blue Power Ranger. He's actually pretty cool. So when someone goes, this movie's very Power Ranger-esque and had me excited, I went
person on the podcast.
I was like, I like, even if there's no Zords, like when I saw the uncle the size of an Empire State Building, I went, maybe we get a giant boss battle. Maybe there's this other power I have, because I don't read the comic, that she has like some type of vehicle or mech or something, because I just saw a giant dude. That means maybe one of these villains will turn giant. Maybe Sister Christian will become this giant plant-based creature because she takes a little bit of Honey Boo Boo's power. And then I didn't get any of that. The only big fight I got was Tornado Mr. Fantastic, that I have a microphone.
Wait, was
that I
Tornado
talk
Mr.
into.
Fantastic, the guy that spun his head?
Yeah, he had the microphone in the spear and talked,
and he had the violin accompaniment.
He did have the violin compliment. And here's my dilemma, guys. This is where I don't understand my brain sometimes. I watch these bad guys in this movie, and I'm like, either they have cat ears, or they're wearing burglar masks with fedoras. They have violins, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But in the back of my head going, but I love the Axe Gang in Kung Fu Hustle. I adore that. I tried to convince Nate for us to review that movie while you and Troy are trying to review Cutie Honey. So every time you guys would talk about something, we would bring up Kung Fu Hustle and
Only I had
review
the
it.
time to watch Kung Fu Hustle.
I told him that didn't matter. It would still be fine, because it had Looney Tune aspects to it. It had insane, leave your brain at the door fight moments. But there's some
It's weird that clicks for
me.
you and I, but this one did not.
That's what I'm getting at.
It's fascinating,
I don't
Troy made
understand
a really good point. We're like, yeah, the G.I. Joe movie doesn't feel like it's source material at all.
No.
And this one, I know nothing about source material, but I could tell it's paying complete love to it. And it also makes sense when you find out the guy that did this made Shin Ultraman and Shin Godzilla that everyone's been raving about. So it's like you clearly
But there are the haters
talented
of that though too. I mean, there are people that do not like Shin Godzilla and stuff like that. I think is it Justin who is well known for not liking the Shin Godzilla?
Yes.
Justin doesn't like Army of Darkness. His opinion of anything is invalid.
You are true. I was just saying though, but because he is a Godzilla fan, I do know Justin is a huge fan, but he doesn't like Shin Godzilla. So I'm like, there has to be something.
I've never seen it. I want to.
And he likes Godzilla 98.
I got it.
I think it's on the Plex too. So
Godzilla 1998 did have John Reno in it, who was also in a little action movie known The Professional.
The Professional.
Yeah.
That also had Natalie Portman from a little indie flick called Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
That is true.
Never heard
of
that.
That is true.
Yep. I mean, I think they brought her on for the sequel. I can't remember, but yeah.
Oh, I remember.
It's like,
I love it.
I remember.
I love the dissonance. This is
But
wonderful. We're having a good conversation about this. This is why we watch these movies. This is why
it is.
I don't ever want to like every movie that you like, Charlie, or you, Troy, or you, Nate.
I do.
No.
I don't like not liking movies. I like liking movies. It's really cool.
Right.
Unless it has John Travolta in it. I don't know. Or Jai Courtney.
Only if he's in
as
Paris.
long as we can have fun
about
talking
love.
about it, that's what matters. And I think we're having a good time, regardless of your opinion of this wonderful movie called Cutie Honey.
Well, it was the same as like when we covered Thirst. I didn't know how well that episode was going to go. And quite honestly, it still ranks pretty high up there. Some of my favorite episodes because we had such a good,
really good
conversation about, okay, why didn't I like, and again, I'm doing the same thing with the Cutie Honey. I could easily just come in here and go, I could have downloaded the Billy Madison rant at the end and just played that every time I wanted to talk. It's like everyone in this room is 100% dumber now for making me watch this. I could have done that. I could have took the low road, but I did want to get into like understanding why this didn't click with me.
Why did you like it?
And honestly, I mean, I am guilty of loving bad movies, but a lot of them are action movie bad, horror movie bad. And I think we all have those that no matter what anyone says, we're going to love these movies. It's like, okay, Nate was like, this was worse than Metal Storm. Metal Storm wasn't a good movie, but I love it. And
I don't know how. Like, watching both of these, I was just like, oh God, it's Metal Storm. It's only an hour and a half long, but it feels like I've been in Pete's basement for 19 hours.
Okay, you too. I wanted to.
We watched Crabs, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and then we followed it up with Cutie Bunny. It's just not.
So we're watching this movie, and Jackie says, how much longer does this movie have? And I went, Pete said this was like really short, so we have to be really close to the end. And so I hit pause, and I wasn't an hour into it yet.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my God.
But it's only 90 minutes. I mean, it's really only like 93 minutes, right?
In all truthfulness, yes, it is only like 90 some odd minutes. It felt like a 3-hour long movie.
That middle section is rough. It really is.
Jackie went to bed. I was like, what happened to Ride or Die? She's like, I died. I'm going to bed. And I was like, I got left.
The Bad Boys for Life, Jackie. Bad Boys for Life.
I shot her in the ass, I guess. I don't know, but she turned her papers into the captain.
Bad Boys for Life.
She's asking for a transfer to a different
she got
department.
she got the transfer. She, something about me being a trust fund kid. I have no idea. But so I had to finish this movie alone, and I was just like,
I at least had the
"Oh
company of
my
good people.
God."
You had a
Yeah,
good time.
I'm glad you guys did have that good time, and because I can only imagine what Nate would have done if he had to watch this by
Oh
himself.
my god, if I would have done this by myself
And
Oh.
and a broken toilet.
and a broken toilet, I might be nope, not gonna say it.
All right. Well, I think we've kind of touched base on a lot of what this movie is. And look, hopefully, if you did take the chance to watch this movie, good
It's on
you.
YouTube.
And it's on YouTube.
YouTube.
If not, hopefully we kept our, like Pete said, our conversation good enough and entertaining enough that you don't need to watch the movie, because I'm going to tell you, don't. You don't need to watch this movie.
Pete and Troy are gonna tell you
Half
to
of this
watch
cast
it.
is going to say go watch this. The other half is saying don't watch this. So it's on you.
So
to decide
really,
whether or not you want
whoever
to
you
listen to this.
love and think is the cutest is who you should listen to.
That's right.
Aw, clearly, it's me.
No,
but
no, no.
I also,
bitch, it's me.
It's gonna be me anyway. Let's get into the stuff, I guess. Why did
Things?
I pull up?
Stick?
I pulled up Machete.
Oop,
That's not the right
not
one.
right.
Oh, that's
Al
right.
Leon, right?
It's Bullets.
Al Leon, who was in Last Action Hero that I saw last night for the first time.
Oh, did you watch it?
Nice.
Oh,
I still never seen that.
oh my God.
It's
Troy,
a fun romp.
It ain't good.
Yeah, that's kind of why I
It's fun.
haven't. But
It's fun.
It is.
It is more fun than I thought it would be.
It is a self-aware action movie.
It is self-aware.
period. From a kid's perspective.
That's
basically.
what. Yeah.
Terrified of that villain as a
It's the
kid.
never-ending story, but in
of
an action movie.
Yep. That's perfect right there.
Yeah, I adore
Awesome.
it. So, all right, let's do the thing.
Yeah.
Leave anything for us?
Just bodies. Body count. Body count. Body count. Body count.
So I had to hit the button just so I had a little bit of action in this thing. I don't know what the body count for this is because I couldn't find it anywhere. I guess because it's such a popular anime that people have done body counts of the show. But as far as this movie goes, and other than I guess the 4 claws, is that
the 4
how many there were?
claws, and then
The 4 claws and handfuls of henchmen. That's all I really saw die, like literally watch die. Like buildings get destroyed, but when the Japanese businessmen raise their heads up through the hole, now my brain, now my brain goes, oh, no one actually dies in this movie. You know what I mean? Like even Gold Claw, we don't know that killed him. They dropped down a tube.
right. Well, Cobalt Claw definitely died. I mean, Cutie
Cobalt
Honey
did.
straight up murdered her.
Yeah,
front of
cooked
the
her to
cop.
death.
hot hug of
Wait,
death.
wait, that
Right.
one.
Yeah. So you had that one.
Again, the
and
convenient powers of Cutie Honey.
she
Whatever she needs to
she-
be to win.
So she didn't actually destroy the one that shot fireballs out of her mouth because she reverses her own power against her and she takes off running. Do we see her
Mhm.
again?
Yeah, she runs past Black Claw and's like,
Black Claw.
go get her. And he's like, you are not.
You suck.
Yeah, you suck. I can't believe that you didn't do it. And he slices her in two.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
that's right. How did Black Claw died?
Cutie Honey spun him in reverse and he died, right?
Well, he spun into reverse, but then he gets up because she's overheated,
Oh,
and he gets
right.
down on top of her. He's like, and now I'm going to win because I
Oh,
always
and
win.
the
And
other
she's
girl-
choking her, and then she puts her hand up and shoots a power
Boom.
blast through his chest.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So those
this
are
is
really the only.
Way more cool than you think it is.
Yeah. Not really. You guys are spinning this like some kind of anime news network. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to take this. ANN. There you go. Anime News Network. So yeah. That's the body count. I just wanted to hear bullets and gunfire. So that's why I did that. And we just kind of talked about pretty much all the deaths, but I have to hit the button.
Killed anyone? Yeah, but they were all bad.
Because I need Arnold in here. What's your favorite death kill in the movie? Nate.
My joy and happiness.
Damn it!
That was my answer too.
That was my kill of the week. Was my will to go on.
My soul.
Oh,
That's my answer. My
God.
soul. Troy, what's yours?
It's not that kind of movie.
Right.
I mean, I like the guy that slapped against the side of the bridge.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, we'll give you that
Splatted.
one. He
Yeah.
died.
He definitely died.
I'll
He's
take
Alright.
the other one where the Black Claw are in a circle and they shoot each other.
Okay,
And
we'll
they
count that as one.
And they all fall
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
they all fall down.
Mhm.
Which
It's
is
very silly. It's very predictable, and it's like
it's like even if she was still standing there, the odds of someone getting shot was still really high in that scenario. So I
Right.
don't know
Bodies don't
what.
necessarily absorb the bullets entirely, right?
Yeah, even though they're basically using
they're henchmen. They're not smart.
what is that, the Walther? No, not the Walther. What's the German gun? They were using German guns.
Luger.
E30,
The Luger, yes. They are all using versions of the Luger because everyone loves that gun for some reason because it looks cool.
It looks
when
cool.
it loads and recoils and stuff. It was actually not a very good gun. All right, so do we need to rate this? I guess we need to.
Yeah, no, we need to rate it. We have to rate it. That's a thing we do
Okay.
on this show.
Now, there was a lot of that in there, but if I added a little bit more, that would have been more accurate.
Yeah.
With the kicks and stuff. It was only like missing the uwoos and kawaii girls, I think. In my research, my Google history is going to be all jacked up because I was searching stuff about Cutie Honey. So thank God my wife watched the movie with me, so when
she knows
goes,
what's happening, right?
why is this
It's
showing underwear on your Google search? I'll be like, well, we watched Cutie Honey. That's why. So, all right, let's rate this. Let's see. Troy.
I enjoy this very much. It was just a fun time. It's no great work of art, but I think that for what they were trying to pull off, they pulled off very well. I'm giving it 7.5.
Fair.
Okay, nice.
Pete, I'm making you go.
Yeah. I'll do 7. It's everything Troy said it was, but Troy is much nicer than I am. I thought it was wonderful.
You picked
it. Worth a watch. I picked it. 7.
He picked
Nate.
that and he picked his rating.
Nate.
Well, I grew up very poor. This is not being, a hidden fact.
Nope, we talked about it.
Sometimes when, you were hungry and there was nothing to eat for dinner, you went to bed and bed was your dinner.
Yep.
So for entertainment, I think I would have rather choose bed than to watch this movie.
Oh.
Like if it was like, a rainy day and you can't go outside to play and the only channel is channel 45 and they happen to be playing this at noon and it's the noon to 2 block and nothing else is on other than the Home Shopping Network, I think I choose napping over this movie. I do not wish to revisit it. It was not my cup of tea. So for that, I'm going to give this movie a 2.
No, the dreaded 2.
The dreaded 2. It doesn't come often, but I had to pull it out for this one.
So, as
You,
Nate
Charlie?
so eloquently put it there, we both grew up not very well off. Our parents did what they could. And as a child that grew up without cable for a long time, this was like the 3-channel syndrome, and it's summertime on a Tuesday evening, and there's nothing worth watching because everything's on reruns. There are no new episodes of anything on. And I have also gone on the record in this episode saying that I would rather watch another movie than this one. And seeing as how I didn't rate the movie I would rather watch than this one, how does one rate the unrateable? I give this negative thirst.
Okay.
I love Pete dearly, and he is a fantastic addition to this podcast for sure. And as one thing we have talked about this early on in the podcast, and we have talked about it recently in our break, that it's not fun if everyone's just gushing and awing and oohing over every single movie we pick. There is no fun without a little tiny bit of drama, a little chance to rib at each other for the things that we love and adore and say is just like Power Rangers when it's not. And I am guilty of loving movies that are bad. I mean, let's face it. There's a lot of bad action movies.
This is pretty good revenge for me picking Missing in Action, so I really do apologize. I kind of, you know what? I'm going to take the blame.
Yeah, I was going to say that was Nate that picked that movie, even though it fit what we were doing, but we are doing a totally different Chuck Norris movie next year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That has been decided on. I do enjoy the conversation we've had. I think it's been a blast that we can all still smile and laugh and giggle, knowing the pain we've put each other through. But I am going to say that this is also my revenge for how you treated my boy Spawn on Good Beer Bad Movie Night.
I know.
Where you don't even... I noticed we talked about Cutie Honey fairly early on in our episode here tonight when you took an hour and 15 minutes to talk about Spawn on your episode. And I don't mean your little 6-minute synopsises where you happen to mention the movie, where you're mostly talking about the comic, though, and the character. Oh, I listened because I was excited. I was like,
so hard.
They are covering Spawn. And oh, God, I love Spawn. Guy's one of my favorite characters, and I love that movie. And then you guys shit on it, and I'm gonna shit on Cutie Honey. And you know what?
I don't know if that's legal. I don't know if that's legal.
If that comes up on the search engines in Google, I'm okay with it. Put me on the list. I'm good.
Pete,
okay, that was
you
my
better
rate.
pick a damn banger for the horror one. So what is it?
All right, gentlemen, you ready for this?
Nope, but go for it.
I don't know. Is there an anime horror movie that I don't know about?
Oh, sure. There's lots of those, but we're not doing
Cutie Honey Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
We are doing an independent film that was kind of a... Oh, boy. Okay.
Getting the old Google out right now.
Here's the backstory. I knew this was going to get me into trouble. So I pivoted. And what I had originally selected for this slot got bumped because I needed a home run. I needed to knock this thing out of the park. I have selected a film that was kind of a student film. It was like an advanced student film. Independent. It is Japanese. It is, you'll have to read the subtitles. It is on Shudder. It is One Cut of the Dead.
One.
Oh, I know of that one. That one's actually supposed to be really good. I've heard nothing but great things about that.
Because it is very good. And it is bitchin'. There is I'm not going to tell you nothing about it. Zero.
Yeah, I
just
really
go watch
don't know
it.
much about it.
Don't do any research on it until after you watch it, because when you do the research on it, you're going to be like, holy shit, that is what I saw. It's
that
awesome.
is, like I said, I'm trying very hard on the Pete Pick month to not do any research whatsoever before I watch these. I wanted to go in
because I came so close to watching that multiple times and just haven't pulled the trigger.
Yep.
So thank you, Pete. No, I'm excited to check that one out.
Don't watch it. This is a banger. These last two movies, gents, I guarantee are bangers. Now, the last one of the month is a very weird banger, but I think you will like it
It
also.
better
But
bang hard.
it's going to
'cause
bang as
that's
hard as you let me.
that's
Oh,
the
that was
action
terrible.
side. Because
Don't
so far,
worry, it can bang us. Trust me, I will stay hydrated. I will get Gatorade. I will take the 5-hour energy shots if it means
Right.
getting banged that hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just noticing that I think I know who Pete's favorite is because, when he announced Raw, Nate was very much like, "Oh, I've heard of that movie and I've actually seen it." And he was very excited. And I went, "I don't know nothing about it." And then, now he's like talking about this new movie. And Nate's like, "I've heard of that. I haven't watched it yet. I'm very excited." Yet when he announced the action side and he went, "Cutie Honey." And I went, "Oh, no. I don't know."
We
Charlie,
didn't even Google it, and I could already see. I was like, "There's a
I
lot
will.
of pink
I will
colors, and I
make it
love
up.
pink."
I'm going to make it up to you. It's going to be weird, but I'm going to make it up to you.
All right.
There
And
better be some sort of Japanese version of Rambo where he shoots ghost bullets. Damn it, that we don't know about.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I know.
I would watch
That sounds awesome.
Like his gun is haunted and it talks to him, and then they go into the woods and then they shoot ghost bullets at like demons.
Didn't they make that called R.I.P.D. or something?
Never saw it, but if there's ghost bullets, now I'm very
comic is
curious.
great.
Also, there was ghost bullets in the Frighteners when Arnie
there
Ernie
was. Frighteners
There
were
was.
awesome.
That's right.
Yeah,
That was a
so
good movie.
it's a thing. It's Frighteners half action, half horror. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out. All right, everybody. Well, if you've made it this far into our episode of
Thank you.
Cutie Honey, thank you very much.
Thank you for
That's
indulging me.
and that's part of it, man. I mean, we're all gonna pick a movie that the other ones are like, "Why did you pick this?"
What are you
and
doing?
that's
Stop that.
that's the fun of it. And sometimes we watch cold watch movies and we're all like, "I don't know why we watched this movie." And that does happen once in a while as well. But this was still fun. I think we had a great conversation. I think everyone should be very well entertained.
Are we all still friends?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
Oh,
I think
oh
so.
thank
I
God.
love you guys.
I-
This is it's a
I
stupid
did-
movie. You're not going to hurt my feelings over a stupid movie.
Pete literally does a show called Good Beer, Bad Movie. So, it's not like we should be surprised, so it all works. So again,
I didn't
thank
even get
you.
to have beer though. This is bullshit.
That's your fault.
That's your fault. We're
You're
all over
sitting
here
in your
drinking.
house.
You're
Get
fine.
your own
Yeah.
beer.
So let me just say, Troy, as quiet as you've been, yet smiling the entire time, thank you for hanging out with us tonight and being the emotional support Troy that Pete
Troy's
needed
gonna
so
join
badly.
us.
Emotional support, Troy.
He's gonna join us in 2 weeks, right?
I think you're on the
Yes.
next action one. Which
Nice.
terrifies
Troy
me.
knows,
one.
Troy knows what it is.
Yeah, he does. That's why I
It's
said
crazy. I
Troy's
hadn't
not
thought about
allowed.
it. If you would have asked me if I would have rather been on the horror or the action part of this, I figured I would be the horror, but no, I'm doing the action.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that though.
that doesn't make me
Stepping
feel
outside
better.
of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, but we did make you watch Metal Storm.
He
Yes, you did.
volunteered because Pete picked it. Let's keep everyone remembering that it was Pete's
right.
idea that we did Metal Storm.
boy.
So I have receipts. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for checking us out this week on Give Me Back My Action Movies, the anime edition. It was a lot of fun. We have good times. So, and if you want to continue on, please go over and check us out on Facebook at Give Me Back My Action Movies, the podcast Facebook group. Give Me Back My Horror Movies, the podcast Facebook group. Both on Instagram. We are on Twitter, TikTok. We are on YouTube. Please go check out our live streams. We should have 2 I know of under our belt. Don't know what we're doing in February yet, but we'll come up with something, even if it's just something we make up randomly. I don't know. Cocaine Bear doesn't come out to the end of the year or the end of the month. So that kind of screws up our
I've got tickets
streaming.
for it already.
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine.
Cocaine Bear.
A couple of quick announcements. A very good friend of mine, huge supporter of the podcast, Steven Simone's. He did a documentary a few years ago. He's actually had this for a while. It is now playing on Tubi. So it is called Rite of Passage, an author's journey. Type that into Tubi. It'll come right up. Yours truly makes a couple of cameos in it. I
Is
have
that
known.
WRITE a passage?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very silly.
Yeah. So it is about his journey as doing films and writing and his going to conventions. It is fantastic. I watched it again today. It had actually been a couple years since I watched it when it originally released. Brought back a flood of memories and emotions. A couple of people that
That's real
are interviewed
sweet.
in there had passed away since then, and they will be missed. And he is from day one supported me in doing this podcast. Matter of fact, things are in works with him to help add a little something to the podcast as well as we go forward. So don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we're working on some things behind the curtain. So we have that
Very
going
Dragon
on.
Ball tease.
Ball tease. Good job, Nate. Also, if you are not following $2 late fee, they got an exclusive extended trailer to a documentary about Megaforce. It is a documentary of basically just revisiting like some of the filming sites of Megaforce. This guy has one of the motorcycles, the dune buggies. Barry Bostwick is in it.
Pretty sweet.
They talk about it, and you realize Barry doesn't remember a lot of it because it was a long time ago.
He's
But
not as chicken anymore.
he is not. They actually have a fantastic interview with him from last year. I am super jelly of these guys. They even got to host a panel over in California. I forgot what the name of the con was, but they were the host of the panel with Barry in it.
Cool.
Zach and Dustin are doing amazing things with their podcast and taking it even further. So please go check those guys out. So they are huge supporters of us as well. They've been there pretty much since I started and was reaching out to people to kind of just help guide the show and what do I do next? What do you do? How do you do this? And they have been fantastic. They could have easily just ignored me in their DMs. So just want to give them the love that they deserve. I try to talk about them, but I don't always get a chance to. And also, please go check out everyone on the Give Me Back My Podcast network. We have Good Beer, Bad Movie Night with Pete and Troy here in the house doing some amazing stuff. Let's see, as this comes out in February, what is your February release this month?
February will be Tarzan.
That's right. You're doing Tarzan. Skarsgård.
Skarsgård, Legend of Tarzan.
Oh, Eric the Vampire.
It's a movie, folks.
It's a movie.
Oh God.
Maybe you should have watched Cutie Honey.
We had a really good time with this episode, and it's
probably because you had beer.
We had beer.
Good beer.
That's your fault.
Yeah. No, you didn't offer me the beer that's on tap.
For heaven's sakes.
That was at the viewing. All right. And
I
please
can be
go
like
check.
Pong. I can bounce it right back.
Don't get him wound up. He's wound up now. Thanks, Pete. I got to put him to bed after this.
I know.
And also go check out Monster Movie Stomp Down. Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. Tons of stuff coming out. Plenty of content. And please go check out all our affiliate shows over on Instagram and everywhere else we interact with them. Guys, am I forgetting anything?
I think you got it all.
Nope.
I think
it's
so.
now just Pete's got to give us the good word if there is any.
Pete, what's the good word?
Honey Flash!
I love that the dogs started barking. He even pissed off the dogs.